Hey guys, and welcome to the LazieLemon Creations podcast. My name is Lindsay, and I live in the heart of the New River Valley with my husband and my 2 kids. You can find me on Instagram as LazieLemon Creations, and you can find me on Ravelry as LazieLemon. This is my podcast all about the crafts that I do, the knitting, crocheting, sometimes cross stitch, and the books that I read, and just my life in general. I have been knitting for about 3 years now, and I've been crocheting for about 6. So I still consider myself new at the whole world of crafting, but I enjoy it, so I thought I would share with you guys. To start us off with, I'm going to talk about the whips that I am currently working on right now. All of these have been started in the new year. I do have a couple of whips that are from previous years. Yeah. And they probably won't make an appearance on the podcast until my current whips are done. I'm not taking on any more stress this year if I can help it. So my goal is to work through a lot of the whips that I've already committed to. And then I can pick up some of the ones that are just lingering around that look at me with sad, dopey eyes in the corner of my crafting closet every time I go to just pull out a new ball of yarn for some socks. So here's my current whips that I'm working on right now. My first whip that I have is living in my bag by Ginger Snap Fibers. It's a donut bag. It is so cute with a little boxed bottom with the donuts all over it. They look so delicious. I love this bag. It is a snap bag. And so it just has the snap buttons on the inside. It also came with a little yarn cozy, but the reason why I don't have any yarn in here is because on my whip, I'm at the toe. I am ready to Kitchener my toe together. I stopped this last night before I went to bed. And so I'm ready to Kitchener the toe on these socks. And then I'll be ready to start the second sock on this whip. This sock, I do a magic loop on ChowGoo needles. I do size 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter, I believe. Hold on, one of these needles says it. Yes, 1.5, 2.5 millimeter. So that's what I do my magic loop on. Typically I do 24-inch cable, sometimes a 40-inch cable, just whatever I'm working on. It doesn't bother me. Either way, it can be a long one or a short one. But I'm getting ready to Kitchener the toe. The toe, even though it's really hard to see the different colors here, it's really hard to see the different colors, but the toe and the cuff aren't Knit Picks Felici, they're just Knit Picks Stroll. It's the fingering weight in the color ash. I have probably 10 to 15 little balls of Knit Picks Stroll. Like I have one right here with the label still on it. I have like 10 to 15 of these that I use for heel, toes, and cuffs for Felici, so that I don't have to use up all of my Felici when doing a pair of socks, because I'm lucky enough with the sock recipe I do, which is a 2x2 rib on my cuff for 20 rows. And then I do a 20 row leg. That's what my light bulb stitch markers are right there. They're counting all of my rows. But I do a 20 row cuff and a 20 row leg, and then I immediately go into my heel. And when I do that for all of my socks, I can use one 50-gram ball of Felici and make 2 socks, make 1 pair of socks for it. So this colorway is right down there. It's Goth Kitty. I don't know if it's actually going to show up on there. There we go. It's Goth Kitty. And I love it. I love Felici. It's great for my socks because living in a house with 2 children, I am constantly having to step over Legos and crumbs and everything else. And so to have a pair of socks that I can just throw on my feet and not have to feel that, it's actually great. So that is my current whip that I am doing right now. Oh, I also cast on 64 stitches for my sock. It's what I consider the generic recipe for it, and I haven't tried to cast on any other number of stitches for my socks. 64 works for me. I found what fits my foot. I'm gonna stick with it until I can't anymore. I'm gonna stick with it. I like it a lot that way. So that is my first whip, is my socks that are in here. Hopefully these will be an FO on my next podcast, so we shall see. But my Knit Picks Felici socks are my first whip that I have. And then my second whip I have living in this bag. This bag is from MLD Threads on Etsy. Any of the shops that I have mentioned today, I will have linked below with their Etsy shop or their storefront shop. However, I purchased the bag. That's what I will link down below so that you can check them out too if you would like. But this bag is from MLD Threads. It's a zipper bag, but it has an amazing handle, and it's a big bag too. Like, I could hide behind it if I want to, and I'm not a little girl. So I love this bag. And the inside print, it's polka dots. It's just black and white polka dots. It's super cute. Very well made bag. I love this bag so very much. And this project is a crochet project. I am using a Susan Bates. Oh, let's see here. Come on. There we go. The Susan Bates hook. It's an H hook. It's an 8 US terms, but it's a 5mm anywhere else. You can get it at Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any of your big craft stores. It'll carry a hook just like that. And this is a crochet hook. It is going to be a corner to corner blanket, and it will be for my best friend who is obsessed with cats. She currently has 7, I want to say. If it was up to her, she would replace her family with her cats. Maybe, but no, she loves cats. And so this will be a blanket for her that I have the pattern for. I got the pattern from, so I looked it up, and this pattern for this blanket is from Magic Yarn Pixels. And it is an image of 3 little cats that are peeking over the edge of the blanket. And if editing Lindsay can remember, I will insert a photo here so that you guys can see it, what the base of the photo looks like. I am changing up the colors a little bit so that it's more suited for my best friend and her preferences and her cats. So this will be a present for her. Her birthday's in April. And I don't think I'm going to have it for her birthday, just because that's the type of person I am. I am a procrastinator or a procrasticrafter. I just work on what makes me happy when it makes me happy. I have an FO, well, it's half whip, half FO, you'll see in a minute, that I've been doing for a year. And it's a baby blanket size. And it took me a year. I didn't want to work on it. And so I didn't, and I needed to. But it's done now, so that's what matters. But my stitch marker on this blanket, let me remove it because it's not holding anything important right now. Ooh, it'll be backwards. Hold on. There we go. It's Arkansas. It's just a little charm from Arkansas Yarn Company. I was first introduced to them from my friend Jennifer, who is the Crafted Pearl. Love her podcast, love her Instagram, just love her in general. And the year before last, in 2021, we decided to do a yarn swap every few months just to keep it fun and interesting. And so one of her favorite shops is Arkansas Yarn Company, and I had not heard of them until she had gifted me some of their yarn during their yarn crawl. She had gotten me their custom colorway. That was the best yarn I've worked with in a very long time. I absolutely loved it. It was so soft. It was wonderful. And so You'll see them again later in the podcast here in a minute with some more yarn. But yeah, this little charm came with it, and I love it. And so it's going on my crochet project because I want a charm on there. And that surprises me because I'm not the person who keeps charms on her project. I don't do progress keepers a lot. I love them. I wish I did, but I always forget to move them. I'll be working on a project and I'll leave it where it was, and then I'll finish the project and be like, was that supposed to mark my weekly progress, my monthly progress? I never remember. So maybe doing this podcast will help me in keeping up with progress keepers. We'll see. But yeah, I don't do progress keepers on my project, but this is being a stitch marker and a progress keeper all in one. But I do love progress keepers. I just don't remember to use them ever, so I don't use them. I need to get better at that though. But, oh, the yarn I was using for this, I'm sorry. It's just Yarn Bee Soft Secret in the color Violet. It's acrylic. I bought it at Hobby Lobby. Since becoming a knitter, I started out crocheting, and since becoming a knitter, I have really shied away from worsted weight yarn and acrylic yarn. I love it because it is great to make blankets with and stuff like that, but that's the only time I use it. The only time I use it is for blankets, and I like it to crochet with. I don't like crocheting with tiny, thin yarn like sock yarn. It's not my jam. I don't like crocheting with that. And in the same instance, I don't like knitting with bulkier yarn. And so I like to knit small and crochet big. So that's what I keep it towards. And so all of my yarn that was acrylic or worsted weight, I crochet something with it. And all of my yarn that is fingering weight, I knit something with it. So it just helps me to keep my crafts separate and not really get too jumbled up in everything that I'm buying. So I know that if I'm buying one or the other, I know at least what craft it'll go towards instead of what project it'll go towards. Let's go ahead and move into finished objects so that I can show you some of the things that I've done. And this is things that I have finished within the beginning of 2023. So my first finished object, there are two here, but I'm just going to show you one, is a pair of socks that I did for my friend Patricia. She loves wool socks, and she had asked me if I would ever consider knitting her a pair, and I said that absolutely I would. And it took me a little bit longer to get around to knitting the pair of socks for her. She really deserves these. She loves to sit by her fireplace in the wintertime, and I decided that it was time to make her some socks. So this is what I made her. It's my standard recipe 20-row cuff, but for her, she asked for a longer leg. Sorry, can't see my face. She asked for a longer leg, so I did 60 rows, I want to say, for her leg. And then I just did a standard heel flap and gusset. And then I did her foot and her toe. And so these are my sock blockers. My medium-sized sock blockers. I have large and small as well. And I want to say that these are from Knit Picks, is what these sock blockers are for. They're just blue. They're just nice plastic blue sock blockers. But that's what her socks look like. And the yarn that I used, I had never used it before. I had purchased it when a local to me yarn shop decided to go out of business. Well, I don't know if they decided, but they went out of business, and they were having a huge closeout sale. And I loved the color, but I didn't know what I was going to make with it yet. And so it is 60% wool, 20% silk, and 20% Raimi, if I'm saying that correctly. It's extremely soft, very nice quality, really stretchy, really giving. It's got a very low halo to it. I don't know if you guys can see that. but they're absolutely delightful to work with. And I really enjoyed it. The colorway was color 13. So don't really even know what true color that is. But these socks are for my friend Patricia. And I've held off giving them to her because I wanted to film this podcast. So I had messaged her and told her that I would give them to her the next time I see her at church. So she can have these for the rest of winter here in Virginia, because our weather is bipolar and doesn't know if it's going to be hot or cold or rainy or muddy or anything for the day. So she can have them to wear them during the rest of what is considered our winter here in the state of Virginia. And then my last FO that I have. Shh. Okay, it's an FO in my books, okay? Because I'm done crocheting on it. There will not be any more crochet on this blanket, so therefore it's finished, right? Except that I still have to weave in all my ends on this blanket. But it's just a little cow blanket. It's not that big. It's just a little cow blanket. It's a baby blanket. It's super cute. It's corner to corner because that's what I love making my blankets in. And I've crocheted the ends. This is the end I started in. And I crocheted most of them. I just got to the point where I stopped. So this yarn was Karen Simply Soft worsted weight in just black and white just to make a cow print. And I used the same crochet hook, an H US 8 5mm hook, Susan Bates. That's my go-to. That's my go-to for corner to corner. And most of my yarn is either Karen Simply Soft or Yarn Bee Soft Secret, just because it's good for babies and adults, and I don't have to worry about an itch factor with either one of those, and I don't have to worry about the splitting factor as much with those types of yarns. So it's finished. I'm just weaving in the ends, and it doesn't have a home to go to, so I don't have a deadline for it. This is the project that took me all of 2022 to make because I didn't want to do it. It's not that I didn't want to crochet. I didn't want to do the constant color changing of black and white, black and white, black and white, that didn't make an image. Like for my friend's blanket, the cats, it makes an image. I get to see that image come alive as I'm working on the blanket. This one, yes, it's cow print, but it's just different to me. So I didn't like working on this, but I love the finished object. I love the finished project. I just didn't want to work on it, so I didn't for a very long time. But it is done now. The crocheting part of it is done. I am weaving in the ends, and I will get it done at some point. My goal is to get it done by the next podcast, and then y'all won't even see it because it's an FO, this podcast. It's an FO. I'm telling you, it is. But I do have some future casts on that I already know about, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about those. So hold on, let me grab everything here. This is currently resting in my peekaboo bag. Let me move my scissors out. From Daisy Girl & Company. I love this bag with the see-through pocket in it. And the print is just so cute. It's a little girl and a reindeer. And it's so cute. And I think there might be a little boy as well. Anyway, it's kids and their reindeer, and it's super simple, and it's very wintry theme without being Christmas theme. The handle here is snowflakes, and the interior fabric is red snowflakes. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. But, so this project, I already have the yarn split. This is a 50 gram ball. This is a 50 gram ball. And then there's other two 50 gram balls, my scissor cutter, my stitch markers that I have in a pill bottle. As weird as it is, my kids wanted to put them all in a pill bottle for me, so CVS is sponsoring these stitch markers. Kidding, they're not sponsoring these stitch markers. They're just holding my stitch markers right now. But I have my 50 grams that are for me, and then I have my 50 grams of each color that are for my friend Jennifer from the Crafted Pearl. You heard me talking about her earlier. And the yarn, sorry for the crinkling, is by Arkansas Yarn Company. And the two colors, the gray color here, okay, it is graphite, and it is in their Yummy Plush, which is an 8515 Superwash Merino Nylon blend. And then this gorgeous color is also their Yummy Plush, but it is called Perry Twinkle. And so it's also an 8515. And I ordered these I ordered them after Christmas, and I received them before New Year's because I made an Instagram post about how they were my last purchase of the year 2022. And they were my last yarn purchase of the year. And so I need to mail these out to Jennifer. She's already seen them, so she doesn't have to shy away from watching the video or anything. This bag's a cute little zipper bag, but look how cute that is. Look. It's wonderful. I need to mail those out to her so that we can work on the pair of socks that we're going to do together. And I absolutely love it. I can't wait to do that with her. She's one of my favorite fiber friends. And I'm so glad that we are going to do a pair of socks together because we've done it a couple of times with the same yarn. But now that we're doing the same pattern, I think that'll be a lot of fun. So, Jen, I'm going to mail them out. I promise. You gotta wait. So it's coming, I promise. Now it's time to talk about books and life. And my goal for 2023, well, hold on, let's back up just a hair. My goal for 2023 when it comes to yarn and yarn purchases is to work from my stash as much as possible. I have a Harry Potter closet in my home that I call it my Harry Potter closet because it's under my stairs, but it's under my stairs and it has all my yarn in it right now, and I have so much yarn in there. There is no reason I need to buy anything for this year at all. I have enough socks that I could knit a pair a week and I still wouldn't get through all of my sock yarn, and I have enough worsted weight yarn both under my stairs and upstairs in my bedroom closet. I could make probably a blanket a month and still not need to buy any more yarn. I might need to buy like 1 or 2 skeins to match with a color dye lot or something, but I will not have to buy to actually make a blanket. So my goal is to not purchase yarn with the exclusion of Knit Picks Felici being released, because their value packs that they do is a great discount to get you all of their yarn colors that they release for that season at a really good price. But I'm going to actually do a Muscle Burrow hat and a pair of socks with the same color Felici. I have knit a Musselburgh with Felici. I've actually stitched it together, so I can't pull it out and show you the whole tube, but it is a Muscle Burrow. I call it Muscle Burrow, Musselburgh. It's the same hat. Everybody says it differently. I know there's multiple ways to say it, but it's by Isolde Teague. I will have her linked below. And I did it with Knit Picks Felici, and I love it. This color is Vampire Vibes, and I absolutely love it. It's a super warm hat, and I did it differently than the pattern says. I won't give too much away because it is a paid for pattern, but there is a specific way to cast on and there is a specific way to decrease. And what I did differently was I did a provisional cast on, and I knit a couple of rows, and I knit the decrease of the hat, finished it up the way the pattern says. I went back to my provisional cast on, I picked it up, and then I knit the rest of the tube. So like, I don't know where I started my provisional cast on, but let's just say I started it here at like this big purple stripe, okay? And then I knit until it was time to start my decreases. I don't know if it's gonna pick up on that. There we go. But like I knit quite a bit before I actually started the decreases, so that when I went to go pick up my provisional cast on, I had enough room to work with it. And then I picked up my provisional cast on, and then I just started knitting like it says to do in the pattern. And then I knit to the other end and did a decrease there. And so it worked out really well with the Knit Picks Felici, because then I didn't have to worry about my color repeats. I literally only had to watch it one time, and I started at a color and then knit to the decreases, and then I think I only had to wind off one stripe before I was able to continue again from my provisional cast on and finish out the hat. And I absolutely love it so much. It is a very comfortable hat, keeps me very warm, but that's my goal. All of that to say that my goal for the year of 2023 is, when Knit Picks Felici comes out with their new colors, is to get 3 of their value packs. One will be for socks for me, and the other 2 will be worked together to make hats. And I will do that for every release of Knit Picks that they do this year, and probably here forward. And then the only other yarn that I could see myself purchasing this year would be anything from Yarn Cafe Creations. I love her yarn. It is absolutely wonderful. I love her biscotti yarn. It is my absolute favorite. And I have some over here, actually. Sorry. I have some over here. Oh, it's so pretty. It's called Gothic Smoke. It is so soft. It is so pretty. I love it so much. I've got it on a pair of needles here because I'm working on a project that I can't talk about yet. So it's not important right now. I love her yarn. Christy's yarn is absolutely amazing. And that's about it. That's about all I'm going to allow myself to purchase this year. But if I can get away with only buying Felici, then I'm going to celebrate in 2024 by buying all the yarn. I also should probably go on a bag diet as well, because Ginger Snap Fibers, the one who made the amazing donut bag and his donut cozy, is probably one of my favorite bag makers right now. And it's really hard to stay off of her Instagram page and off of her Etsy shop, because her turnaround time for her bags is phenomenal. I placed an order on a Saturday and I got the bag on a Tuesday. And she lives in Colorado. Like, she does not live close. I live in Virginia. She lives in Colorado. And it was absolutely amazing. I love her bags. The quality of them are fantastic. Her prints are adorable. And I really need to be good. I have enough project bags. But when you can get a project bag for about the same price that you can get a skein of yarn, and you can use that one project bag for multiple skeins of yarn, it's just really easy to talk myself into the bag. So my goal is to work on that, or use it as a, oh look, it was my Valentine's gift to myself, or from my husband, or however I want to spin that around to make it not just a splurge. And lastly, what I'm reading currently, I am a very monogamous reader. I'm not a monogamous knitter. I am not a monogamous crocheter. I should be, but I'm not. But when it comes to reading, one track mind. I love to read, but I don't like to balance that many stories in my head. I got enough going on in my head right now without adding additional stories to it. So I like to read one book or one series at a time before jumping into something else. And so right now I am currently reading the House of Night series by PC and Kristen Cast. I am currently on book 6. It's Burned. It is a 12-book series with 4 additional books that are part of their Other World series. And then they have some novellas as well that go along with it. But I am currently on book 6. And my goal is to finish all 6 of the rest of that series this year. They're easy reads. They're 280 to like 330 page books. They're a very easy read. But my husband has read the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks, and he is obsessed with it to the point where he is encouraging me to read it. Essentially, my husband wants me to read the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. It is 5 books, and they are very thick. And I promised him that I would get to that. So that is next on my list after I read the House of Night series, which I have read previously. I have read it before, and I love to reread books. I will do that over and over again. It doesn't bother me. I don't need a new story. I just like to read, and if I can't find anything new, I'll just pick something that I've already done and dive into it. So yeah, that's it for reading. But I have kept my husband and kids upstairs long enough for me to do this podcast, so I am going to let them come back downstairs and enjoy the living room and everything else. And I want to thank you guys for watching the podcast. Like and subscribe if you want to. And you can follow me on Instagram. And you can follow me here on YouTube. And I am hoping that I will see you guys in a week or two. So, thanks. Bye.